All right, this is the glute hip thrust exercise. A little bit of a longer video because there's a few details to explain in it. And then the at-home variation looks a little bit different if you don't have a barbell. Okay, so this exercise trains hip extension and lower body strength ultimately. It's a great exercise for building your glutes. If you have a barbell, you'll want to have that with your plates to keep it up and off of the ground. So you want to have that clearance so your legs come underneath. Some kind of padding. Maybe that's an actual proper pad, or you can even roll up a yoga mat. Whatever variation you're doing, you also want a bench that you want it to hit right underneath the shoulder blades. If it's too high, you do want to get a yoga block or something to boost your hips up onto so that the anchoring is at the proper point on your back. You don't want to have to boost yourself up onto your prop when you go to do the exercise. So for the barbell variation, when your legs are extended, mark roughly where your knees are. So that's one of the first common mistakes, is your feet might be too far away from you. So you want to mark that right spot for your feet. And then you'll roll the bar in and set that up. Make sure that you're setting yourself up so it's even, so it's not going to be too tippy. And then where my knees are roughly, I'm going to get my feet to that point. And then I like to have my feet and hips kind of angled out a little bit. So knees pointing out, so it's favoring external rotation. That will tap into the glutes just a little bit more. Two ways of doing the exercise. We have the hinge method and the scoop method. The hinge method I will show first. That pivot point that's on your back, you're going to do exactly that. You're going to pivot from that point. My gaze will stay forward. My spine stays neutral the whole time. And I'm just pivoting on that point on my back. So take an inhale at the bottom and grab in or brace in through the core. And then exhale, reach the knees away. A little pause at the top. And you can see I'm pivoting on that anchor point on the bench. Inhale and exhale. Okay, that's your hinge method. Scoop method, just another way of doing the exercise. There's evidence that both are great, so find the one that works best for you and your body. The scoop method, your spine goes from being neutral to having a little bit of a posterior tuck in the pelvis. There might be slight anterior tuck at the bottom, but mostly a neutral to a posterior tuck. You'll notice that my upper body stays oriented forward the whole time. I'm not tipping back and lifting as I was in the hinge variation. So same anchor point, same landmarking for the feet. We take an inhale and then exhale, scoop up. And then inhale, neutral pelvis to pull back. Exhale, scoop up. Inhale, neutral pelvis to pull back. So that's the scoop method. Common mistake with that one is you could be overarching at the bottom. So you don't want to really anterior tilt that pelvis. It's mostly neutral to then a posterior tuck. Both methods, you want to have the lockout at the top. Both methods, gazes forward. When we slide into the at-home variation, the single leg variation, it tends to be more of the hinge method. So I'm going to slide my barbell out of the way and bring in a dumbbell. So the reason the single leg version works for at home is because we might not have enough weight to load this exercise, and this exercise can take a big load once you train it. Okay, so you're gonna find your dumbbell and it's gonna come across the hip crease on your working side. The same alignment for the foot. I don't have my knee pointing out as much, so this one's more oriented to be straight forward. The other foot, this is going to be off the ground, and then from there, all variations, you want to drive through the whole foot, not just the toes. So drive through the whole foot, same anchor point, and then we lift and back down. You can see this, I tend towards the hinge variation versus the scoop. So that single leg option is a lot more beneficial for at home. All right, what do we love about the glute hip thrust? It's a great exercise for building your glutes. And when we look at movement through a systems lens, it's not just about the aesthetics of wanting good glutes. It's about capacity and training your ability to generate force through that posterior chain, to be able to coordinate the pelvis and in through the trunk, through your core, to create the kind of strength that supports everything from carrying your groceries in, to being able to hike up a mountain, to recovering from a stumble. Strong glutes are simply one expression of a body that has capacity.